The spectacular Italian Alps make the perfect setting for this inspiring story. The supporting cast are the unlikely duo of champion cyclist Cadel Evans and funny man Hamish Blake. But it's a group of Australian heroes who are the stars. They're truly remarkable people, but what's confounding is they don't know it. In fact, they think they're failures. They bravely served their country in wars and other conflicts, but in doing so developed an awful condition which has no definitive treatment or cure. So perhaps even more bravely, the 5 men and 1 woman, broken on the inside, are now hoping to heal themselves by surviving one of the most demanding feats of endurance.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, soldier on, operation.
It's one of the toughest amateur bike races on Earth.
70 metres done.
For cyclists around the world, the challenge is climbing 8 kilometres straight up. Some are racing for the competition, some for the sheer thrill.
Just gotta get there.
And some are racing for their lives.
I just really struggled. I cried and cried and cried, and I thought, I can't do this anymore. This is what I've been dealing with for the last 8 years. I don't know what's going on. I need help.
Sarah Watson is here to try and help herself. The spectacular Italian Dolomites are a long way from the horrors of the Iraq War. A war that has haunted her for the past 8 years and plunged her into the crippling mental illness called post-traumatic stress disorder.
I had really dark thoughts. I thought about many things that I'm ashamed about, as in, hurting myself and at the very worst, I thought about ending it all because I didn't want to be in my own head anymore.
And helping Sarah and her team on their road to recovery are 2 Australian legends, Cadel Evans and the one and only Hamish Blake. What the hell are you doing here?
It's a great question.
Go, Sam.
Come on, you can stick with me.
You're winning.
You're the fastest.
From the outside, Sarah's world has all the appearances of happiness. A mother to 2 young boys, David and George, and wife to Paul, her husband of 5 years.
You want some tarners?
Legs around.
But on the inside, PTSD has made it a living hell of terrible memories and horrific nightmares. And what are those nightmares?
I'm in a conflict environment. Hi. I just can't get away. This sense of I can't run fast enough, the rockets are coming and I can't save myself.
Sarah was 18 when she joined the army. A talented linguist, she swiftly rose through the ranks to become an intelligence officer. And it was in that capacity she was deployed to Iraq in 2006.
Certainly for me it was going to be the highlight of my career. That's what I'd trained for, and I was going to do it, and I was going to do it well, and I was going to make a difference in the world.
But she was quickly confronted by the realities of war. And she came under rocket attack in Basra.
In the following 48 hours, we were rocketed non-stop. So you start to question, why am I here? Or how did I get here?
The trauma Sarah suffered never went away. But part of her treatment is physical exercise, and Sarah is hoping she can leave her demons behind in these mountains. It's called Trois Étapes, a 3-day, 300-kilometre race to the very roof of the Italian Alps. Sarah's team is supported by Soldier On, an Australian organisation helping victims of post-traumatic stress disorder. Stephen McDonald was a clearance diver, toughest of the tough, until he was nearly crippled during a training exercise.
So going from doing a role that you think you're invincible to being knocked down and hitting rock bottom with depression and anxiety, and then trying to fight way back. It's a lot harder than, you know, some of the physical sides of it. Like, for so long, I just held it all in and didn't speak out to anyone.
Matt Jones served in Afghanistan alongside his brother. Both are now suffering from PTSD.
In the fact that it can just go on the bike and just clear my mind. I've got some pretty bad anger issues, so...
You've got a couple of brothers who've been in the military and one who's also been diagnosed with PTSD. Do you ride for them as well? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're all very proud.
Nearly there.
As an Australian federal police officer, John Casella's face was smashed by a rock during a riot in the Solomon Islands.
What is your goal? What would you like to get from this and take home from this?
For me personally, my goal is purely to finish. Just to finish will, for me, be a massive sense of achievement.
And then there's Soldier On's special ambassador,
No, not yet. Looks cool.
Hamish Blake.
You know, I feel a bit like Eric the Eel would have felt at the 2000 Olympics, because you can't tell at the moment that I'm not a cyclist, but they will find out tomorrow. So Eric would have been walking around, everyone's like, oh, you're a swimmer, you know, you must be good, you're at the Olympics. Like, yeah. You know, yeah, can't wait, feeling good. Oh, it's gonna be messy.
Hamish became passionate about helping veterans with PTSD after he spent time with Australian troops in Afghanistan. Now he's bringing everything he has to this race. 6 months of training and a lifetime of wit.
At the moment, it's just this total sugar high from all the Nutella and bread rolls.
He copied absolutely everything I ate for the whole week. If I took a drink out of my water bowl, he'd take a drink out of my water bowl. If I went up and got a bread roll from the buffet, he went and got a bread roll from the buffet.
The Soldier On team's secret weapon is Tour de France winner Cadel Evans.
Yeah, we've got someone who started riding 6 months ago. We've got someone who started riding 20 years ago. And we're going to put everything together that we've got and work together in that. So, of course, we have a little team unity. We have some camaraderie.
They've spent months training and preparing for this moment, and look every inch a team of professionals. But for many, there is still a fragility, an ongoing internal battle to rebuild their shattered lives. And for Sarah, this is the first chance she's given herself to succeed at anything since returning from the horrors of war.
I guess I felt like I've failed in what I set out to do. To me, you know, not finishing a career on my terms has kind of been a real difficult thing.
From a relationship perspective, it's very difficult because it just chews away at the fun that you should be having. It's taken away that bubbliness from Sarah.
If Sarah can thank Iraq for anything, it's falling in love with Paul.
Where are we? We're on top of the house.
He was there serving with the British forces, but while their frontline experiences were similar, the impact on both was vastly different. Paul left Iraq behind, but the war came home with Sarah. Is it difficult knowing that Paul got through seemingly coping better than you?
Yeah, that bloody hurt, because every day I think he's fine, it's cracking on, and it make me feel even more inferior and more, I guess weaker.
It's my feeling that the greater the capacity an individual has for compassion, the greater the capacity an individual has to put themselves in somebody else's shoes, then the more predisposed they are to PTSD.
Psychiatrist Dr. Andrew Koo says 1 in 5 Australian servicemen and women deployed to conflicts and natural disasters will suffer PTSD. When Sarah told you she was going to do this bike race, what did you think?
I was ecstatic to hear that she was going to do that. We now know from evidence that regular exercise is virtually on par with taking an antidepressant, so it's very powerful.
High on the mountains, day 1 is gruelling, but the team is hanging together.
Go, Sarah.
Hamish urges a weary Sarah to fight to the top. It's a battle all the way.
Come on, dude. 1K.
And drawing on sheer will, Sarah takes Hamish on the final turn.
She needs to go, go, Sarah.
The Soldier On team has just ridden into a new world of pain, but it's pain of the triumphant kind. Every one of them has made it to the end of day 1.
Drink. Oh, someone snuck a whole bunch of worms into your legs.
But tomorrow they'll be climbing higher.
Amazing, we've come up from the valley floor.
And longer.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, baby.
And will confront a threat.
A hailstorm coming through, hail the size of golf balls.
No one saw coming. That's next on 60 Minutes.